Hi everyone, it's Renee with Delaney Jane Cards. Welcome back to my channel. Today, if you're watching this in real time, is day 4 of my Growing in Unity week. There is a contest or giveaway this week, so be sure to leave a comment below. You can be entered to win a gift certificate from Unity Stamps. Today I'm featuring again one of the itty bitty line. I have the Saved by Grace stamp, which is a cross and the sentiment. And I'm also pairing it with this Together in This stamp set, which is fairly new. So I decided I wanted to combine them. I really loved the look of this book. It could be a Bible, it could be any kind of book with the flowers on it. But I also wanted to feature the beautiful cross, and it's like made of sticks and it has a floral. I wanted to make kind of an ethereal looking card. And I also wanted to use some very vintage supplies that I have. I purchased a set of non-smear color pastels or chalk pastels. I would say probably in 2002, maybe. Here they are on the screen. They're by the Stencil Collection. You can't even get them anymore unless you shop like eBay or whatever. Anyway, they're vintage. I'm going to use some other vintage coloring mediums here too. You can find very similar things on the market. You don't have to use what I'm using. This technique is really cool. So I stamped out my image, the book, the one from Together in This, and then I used the little carrier sheet that they give you that your sticky foam is stuck to mask off my image, and then I stamped my cross from Saved by Grace. And I left my stamps and everything in my positioner. I lined my stamp up my paper up at the 4-inch line so that I could restamp it later and knew exactly where I was going. So my thought on this card is to fill it in with some background color. Not like in the background yet, we'll get there, but background color. So I'm just kind of smearing it on. And these are non-smear pastels, but I'm going to smear them with a paper towel here, and then once they're on there for a little while, they kind of dry, and then you don't have to worry about them smearing again. They have like their own binder in them or whatever, and they don't go anywhere. You can use other chalks at the market. You may have to set them, but this is a really cool technique, and I just wanted to showcase it here. So I am just coloring in, and then I'm using this paper towel, and I'm just smooshing it around. And then here I'm just using white to color the flower. And I don't care if I go over the lines at this point because I left my stamps in the stamp positioner. I am going to restamp them later. Here's a really good look at this non-smear pastels, and I will use them again in the video a little bit later. So I'm going to restamp the lines here. You can see I'll have everything kind of laid out. If I turn my paper vertical, I can stamp the book with the florals on it. And here I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and it's just putting the lines back in. If you can see, I had that magnet in the wrong spot, so I was having a hard time. But I finally got it stamped right. And here again, I'm using that little piece of paper that they come on, and I just stuck it down with a piece of Post-it tape. That one's been on my desk for a couple of days, and I just keep using it. And then I did mask off with this piece of paper just so that I didn't get any ink on my actual image from the book and the floral because I didn't clean it. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the background. So I wanted smushy, flowy, like ethereal, glowy kind of a background to this. Easter's coming up, and it's a very religious holiday, and these stamps could lend themselves very religious. The cross for sure, but the book could be almost anything. But like I said, I'm envisioning it as a Bible. So I'm just smearing on some of these pastels, and I am adding blue because I think blue is going to brighten it up, and I'm just using this paper towel. This is going to be the same technique that I use with these the entire time. Scrub it on, scribble it on, then blend it out with this paper towel. I used a Viva paper towel, if you're wondering. It held up really, really well. Um, so I'm just adding, blue and green and yellow, just a really light, smooshy, watercolory looking background, reinforcing the brown on my cross. And now I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit extra color into the flower. I think it's a lily. I kind of colored it like a lily. Could be a magnolia. Not exactly sure. Um, but I wanted to keep the pinks, and I did the flower. It looks like a cone flower that's on the Bible there. Then I wanted a little extra detail, so I did pull out my Derwent pastel pencils. Now these are super vintage. These I probably purchased myself in 1990 maybe, so they've been with me for a little bit. I like them. They're my friends. uh, but they're really nice to get into these tight areas. The chalk pastels that are in kind of a, what is that called, like a cube or a rectangle, block. The block, that's what they are. They're in block form. They are kind of hard to get in some of the fine details sometimes. So I used a few from this set, the white and pink, I think a deeper pink. I didn't write down the numbers. Here's an orange. This is a light blue. And I am just kind of tapping them in, making sure that they didn't leave any dust on my page. And then I am trimming this down. Now, this is not an A2 size card. It's not an A7 card. And it's not slimline. This is an A6 card. An A6 card measures 4.5 by 6.25. Yeah, that's right. 4.5 by 6.25. I just thought, what a unique size for this. Nah, that's not right. What a good size for this. I wanted to make sure all these images didn't feel squished on here. And I just really liked it on the A6 size. I pulled a piece of pink cardstock from my stash, and I used the corner rounder on both my main image panel and this background panel. And that's just one that I got from Michael's at one point. And now I'm doing the same technique I did in the background of my main focal panel, just smushing this ink, like scribbling it on there, the chalk, and then I'm just smushing it around with my paper towel. Now there's pink in the background, so it just looks soft, and it just adds so much. And then I realized that this one corner was just a little too harsh. It had some harsher lines. I think it was the first corner I colored on, but then the last corner I wiped, so it had already kind of started to set. So I just lightened that up a little bit, and look how beautiful that is. So it's sentiment time. I decided to use the sentiment from Saved by Grace. It's Saved by Grace through Faith, and I wanted to make sure it was straight. Unity stamps stamp beautifully. They are red rubber stamps. You always get a good impression. They're beautiful, but it's hard to line them up sometimes. So I use the grid mat that's on my platform here. I try to stamp it in an ink that's not Onyx Black because that takes a little bit longer to dry, and then it gets on the back of your stuff or whatever. So I did use my go-to ink on 3, and then once I knew it was right and I shifted it and made sure it was straight, then I stamped in VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And on this panel here, I did move it more, I moved it away from the hinge to get a nice clean impression, especially with sentiments and stuff. I find the further away from that hinge, the better on the Tim Holtz platform. So here, now I have everything stamped, and realizing that I probably need to just reinforce the white and maybe a few other things just a little bit. So on top of using my pastels, my block pastels, and my pencils, I pulled out my Prismacolor pencils, and I just used a few of them. The same kind of tones that I used from the pastel pencils, the white, pink, just to reinforce these flowers. I think I even pulled out a yellow so that I could get the, ooh, what is that? Oh, a calla lily. There's a calla lily in here. It's gorgeous. Beautifully drawn. The Saved by Grace is drawn by Jeannie Marie Hayes. And I'm not sure who drew the together in this, but it is stunning. And I think these two work fairly well together. You might want to, I don't know, you might need to outline things on the darker color if you don't like how the cross is more soft, and the together in this book with the floral is more bold because of the black, but I thought it was fine. So here I'm just again reinforcing some of the colors. Oh, adding the green in for the foliage. I did decide on some of these other little flowers to be purple because purple is a very Christian color. It's royal. It stands for lots of things, and I thought I would incorporate it in here just a little bit. I also wanted to brighten up the white on the pages just a little bit and make sure my highlights were really nice on my florals. I really did enjoy making this card, and I'm enjoying these videos. Now remember, there is a giveaway, so be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. The comment is what's going to get you entered, but I'd value the like and the subscribe. But go ahead and comment below. It's a Unity gift card that you can win, and it's open anywhere Unity ships. So if you live somewhere that overseas that you're getting products from them, you can win. So I am going to adhere this panel, my main focal panel, to that pink panel. You see I have my stamping on the back. That's because I originally stamped this, but I did not get the cross and the book close enough, so they just look disjointed. That's why I had to do it where I masked the edge of the book off with the little cover sheet, so I could get the cross close enough to the book. This was, I don't know, I trimmed my paper not the way I really wanted to, and that's how I ended up with the border on the top and the bottom, and it just wasn't working for me. I was struggling so hard, but in the end I really do like how the card came out. In one of those Unity like free gift bags that you get with an order, there was this little piece of twine, and I really wanted to like run the string across the bottom of the focal panel and add the little bow. You'll see me try to do it here, and it just didn't. It didn't do it for me. I was like, no, that's not going to work. I think there's too many horizontal lines down there at the bottom because of it, and it wasn't right. But I decided to put the bow on the flowers, and I think it's perfect. In order to adhere this, I'm going to use this Barely Arts glue. But on your bow, if you take note when you turn it over, there's going to be part of the bow that is the string that is above the other parts. I only put adhesive on the things that were actually going to touch the paper. I stuck this down. I did not speed this part up. I stuck this down and it's already glued. So if you're looking for a way to adhere twine or whatever to your paper projects, that Barely Art Precision Craft Glue is phenomenal. Here I'm adding a little bit of white Jelly Roll pen to reinforce those highlights just a little bit. It's like a skippy little line, and it's not perfect, but it does add a little pop of white. To stamp the inside, I'm using Ranger Letter It Shadow Gray ink. I didn't really have a sentiment to put inside, or that I wanted to put inside, so I just stamped the image, and it is light enough to draw over, right over, so you can write the message on the whole thing or right around it. And now I'm going to adhere this card front to an A6 card base. Like I said, A6 is 6.5, nope, 6.25 by 4.5, 6.25 by 4.5. It's a newer one for me. I've made, I don't know, probably 30 cards using this size, and I do enjoy it. I think people enjoy it a lot. I found a lot of my card customers enjoy larger cards. So that is my whole card for today. I hope you're enjoying this little series for Unity. Please leave me a comment below, and as I always say, give cards generously. Bye!